You want to make this incredible shrimp salad with shaved mango and shaved cucumber with a fantastic jaunty dressing that's absolutely going to curl your toes? I know that you do. Stick around. I'm going to show you how in just a matter of seconds. All right, so here's one of the most important things that I can teach anyone about seafood, which is how to actually peel and clean a shrimp. And I want you to watch very carefully because I'm going to do something called pee-weeing a shrimp. And Alzina Toops in Louisiana years ago saw me cleaning shrimp, and I took the top collar off and the tail here, and she said to me, "What is it with all you young cooks?" By the way, I was about 55 at the time. And she said, she was in her late 80s, early 90s, and she said, "You always talk about sustainability, but you don't leave the tail meat, the feather meat, attached to the shrimp." She says, not only is that more sustainable, obviously because you're using all of the shrimp, but it looks better too. And I was like, you know something, you're absolutely right. And ever since that day, I've pee-weed my shrimp all the time, full stop. So I'm gonna show you how to do it as well, okay? So here's what I want you to do. You just place your hands along the legs here, and you just sort of unfold that piece of shell. And then you do the same thing a little further up, and you unfold that piece of shell. And then you just make sure that you crack that top collar, this little piece of shell right at the top here, that last piece before you get to these little tail feathers. And what you do is you pee-wee them. You just one at a time, give them a little pull, and maybe I'll go down a second time, and you just gently pull, and the tail shell comes right off, right? All of it just comes right off. But look at this beautiful tail meat that's there. Do you see those pieces against my finger? Yes, Luca. Luca loves it when I clean shrimp. But isn't that nice? And then the rest of the shell, it just slides right off. Save your shells for making shrimp stock that eventually can become shrimp soup. And then what we're gonna do is we're going to cut these in half across-wise so that we have curls of shrimp. Makes it really easy to take out the vein. Now, I wanna show you, I can do this in my hand. I don't want you to, but you know, we don't want to have to head over to the sink. But all I do is I just come down, I cut the shrimp in half lengthwise, and as you can see, there's two equal halves, but that vein that's right there, which is really not a vein at all, it's actually their digestive system, just comes right out, and you just pull it, and you can actually get 100% of that messy vein. Now, I like cooking with wild caught shrimp like these from a sustainable fishery, and that means there's real food in that vein that can turn your food bitter or off-tasting. And in some cases, maybe little crunchy bits of shell and other food in there. So super easy. And by doing that, I just get lots of halved pieces of shrimp like this that curl up in little spirals, and you'll see when I blanch them in water, which is all, it just takes 45 seconds to cook those half shrimp, even though they're from a large shrimp, you'll see how beautiful they look. So I've let the lemons cook in the water along with a teaspoon of salt for about 10-15 minutes so that lemon water is really strong. And then I take all of my shrimp that I've halved lengthwise and I drop them into the water. And then all I do is agitate them just a little bit, count to 20. So I've already got about 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and I turn it off. And I let the shrimp just sit in that 210-degree water now that it's stopped boiling for 4 or 5 minutes. They'll cook all the way through very slowly. The slower you cook a shrimp, the more tender that shrimp is going to be when you eat it. And then we'll drain those. I will not refrigerate them. They'll go right into the salad warm. First thing I want to do is show you 2 ways to deal with these cucumbers. You can take a peeler. I prefer this European style one. And all you do is make strips of that cucumber. Super, super thin. And you do that until you reach the seed pod, because we don't want that seed pod in there. Don't be afraid. You remember, this is a plant. It's not perfect. Don't be afraid of that being irregular. I also like to use my slicer. Now, this food slicer makes slicing a breeze. And as you can see here, try to do one backwards. Do you see how that is coming out there? Look at that. Absolutely perfect. I don't recommend you doing it backwards. And then I do the other side. And then I may have to go back to my peeler for this inside of the curved part. By the way, I don't throw away this part of the cucumber, because if you sprinkle a little salt on it and eat it, it's a delicious snack. Delish. And then what I want to do is I want to peel this mango. Now, this mango is ripe, but it's not soft ripe. And there's a difference, and all you mango eaters know it. I actually like that this mango has a little bit of tartness to it. So just take the skin off. I like this European peeler for this because it just takes off the outermost layer of peel. And then I'm going to use my vegetable slicer to get the rest of this off. Because what I want is I want strips of mango. And I can just keep going like this with my European peeler and create these beautiful soft sheets of mango in there. When you hit the stone in the middle of the mango, stop. And if you want to use the slicer, just be careful. Look at these beautiful pieces. All right, shallots. If you're using a slicer, don't look at the bowl, don't look at your fingers, look at the food, and then you won't cut yourself, because you can give yourself a really nasty cut. But look at how beautiful these shallots are in those paper thin rings. Next thing that I want to do is put some cilantro tops there. I've just trimmed these off the top of my bunch of cilantro. We're going to make that look really pretty. I have some fresh mint that I just pulled from the garden. I'm going to take these little tops and just stick those in there. I have a couple of them. With the larger leaves, I'm just going to stack them and roll them and just make a little chiffonade cut of these. Cut them into thin, thin, thin ribbons. You can see here how beautiful those look. And I'm just gonna sprinkle those around. Cilantro and mint work so well together. If you do not like cilantro, try it with mint. Fresno pepper, I just want to cut some Fresno pepper rings out of my Fresno pepper. And I'm going to stop before I get to the seed pod. Sometimes these are hot, sometimes they're less hot. I generically find them to be less hot than a jalapeno, but you know. Then I'm going to add some Thai basil. You know, I'm a big fan of Thai basil. I just planted a ton in the garden. I'll show you this beautiful Thai basil. It's the most aromatic of all the basils. And I'm just gonna pull some leaves off the stems and sprinkle those around. By the way, I keep my Thai basil in a cup with water, like flowers. And I take a plastic bag. The one good thing these are for is covering herbs up and putting them in the fridge. Here we go with our shrimp. See how beautiful and curly they are because I have them lengthwise? So beautiful. They turn into like little corkscrews. You know, they are obviously the centerpiece. The smell of this with the basil and the fresh shrimp is just unbelievable. And now we move on to our dressing. I'm using this product, colatura, which is Italian fish sauce. It's from Nettuno. I get it from Gustiamo, and it is absolutely fantastic. This is a very, very light dressing. I use Meyer lemon. Kind of a cross between a lemon and a tangerine for this. About an equal amount. I'm going to add just a little bit of sugar just to counterbalance the tartness of the lemon and the colatura. I'm going to add a little bit of garlic to this, 1 clove, and I'll probably I'll probably use half a clove in just really thin slices. And I'll let that sit for those slices for like 10 minutes in that dressing. So there's so much acid between the colatura, the sugar, the lemon, and the fish sauce. All of them are acids, and it's gonna break down that garlic. So you only need a little bit, and we'll get all that flavor in there. And I'm probably gonna do the same thing. I have a piece of ginger here that I'm just gonna clean up. It's the last of a knob of ginger. And I'm gonna cut that and make thin little sticks by stacking my slices. Make that a little bit easier for you to see. I'm just gonna stack my slices of ginger, just like playing cards, and then line them up and just slice them really thin the other way. And I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna put that into my dressing over here. I have my garlic chives. I'm gonna throw that in the dressing. I'm just gonna stir that up and let that sit for about 5-10 minutes, then we'll pull it all together. And last but not least, I'm gonna add maybe a half a teaspoon of liquid shiokoji, which is made from rice. It's like an umami punch. It's a little bit salty, but it's not soy sauce. It's made from rice, and it's the magic ingredient in most of Japanese cooking. And I'm just gonna drizzle like a half teaspoon in there just to wake this dressing up a little bit. Okay, I have 2 bowls here. I encourage you to put a portion down. And I'll just show you how easy and simple this really is. I love all the curves of this. Let's just get some of that mango in there. And it is okay for plates of this just to look slightly different for you. It should look random and elegant, and then all I do is drizzle liquid dressing over this and then shake a little bit of the solids over it. Here I'll do the opposite, maybe shake some solids over the top. That's that ginger and garlic chive, and then I just use my spoon. But how beautiful is that? Just elegant, stunning, maybe, well, you know what? Let's make it a little more beautiful. Let's just make sure that you can see the seafood on top of each one. We can see everything else there. That's really stunning. And how does it taste? Luca wants some. He knows how good this is. Mango, cucumber, herbs, shrimp, spiked with chilies. Wow. I think I may eat both of these.